Thanks so much for sharing your garden with us. It's always great to get a peek into a blogger's garden. Right now we're going to be moving on and talking about deer-resistant plants and some unusual ones that may not be on your list for the deer resistance. Joining me is Tricia Martin from Forever Gardens in Georgetown. And welcome back to Central
Good
Texas
to be
Gardener.
here.
Always nice to have you here.
Thank you.
And Forever Gardens, just real briefly tell folks about the nursery and your location.
In Georgetown, west of Sun City on Williams Drive. Road construction, a lot of road construction out there, but we're still open. So come on out and see us when weather permits.
When weather permits, indeed. This has been a trying year for everybody,
Yes, it
I know,
has.
in the nursery business and elsewhere.
Yes.
Trying, too, on the wildlife out there.
Yes.
They're nibbling on just about anything they can nibble on.
Anything and everything.
Right.
They'll try it all.
And the deer, we know to recommend, and have been for years, recommending plants that are with that heavy herbal kind of quality to them, because we know the deer
Rosemary.
typically don't like those.
Right.
But all the plants that you're going to be recommending today are resistant for other reasons.
For other reasons, and maybe reasons I don't know.
Right.
They're not typically poisonous. The deer don't eat them.
Well,
So, lucky us.
a few things to be we
That's-
can count as blessings right
Yes,
now, right?
yes.
And why don't we dive in and just start
Okay.
talking about these plants, because
All
I
right.
know people will be interested in this. The first one, and this kind of surprises me because this
know.
looks like deer candy
Doesn't
to me.
it though? Shrimp plant.
Right.
It's a kind of an old-fashioned plant, something you don't see everywhere anymore, but maybe in Grandma's backyard. Very hardy, sun or shade, and hummingbirds go crazy for it. So
Yeah.
besides the deer not eating it, you're going to provide some nectar for the hummingbirds.
Now, I've always loved the shrimp plants. I think the flower forms are so cool,
Very
so
interesting.
different.
Yes.
Tell me about the cultural conditions for this. When I look at it, I'm assuming this is a plant that wants good garden soil.
Decent garden soil, but it's not going to be that particular. So
Okay.
some compost is always helpful in
Yeah.
planting. If you're thinking of planting this fall, be sure and water the ground first before you do any planting for several days.
Yeah.
Loosen it up, soften it up some.
Yeah, and just a general tip on, we can apply to anything we're
Anything.
talking about today. And that's a really good one.
Yes.
Is the ground right now is like a brick.
It is.
And so if
is.
you intend to do some planting this fall, whatever plants you're using, this notion of watering
your
well
ground.
beforehand.
Yeah, set the sprinkler out and water your ground before you plant. Kind of get it ready to work. Otherwise, you're going to be trying to dig up roots.
Right.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so
So in sun to shade, really on the shrimp plant, I always think of it in light shade or heavy shade.
Okay.
A little more sun, it's going to bloom better.
Okay.
But
good.
it can take a fair amount of sun as well.
All right. Well, again, add that to the deer-resistant
right.
list. And so from shrimp to pigeons, we're going to talk about
pigeons. Isn't that
Pigeonberry.
great? Yes, pigeonberry. And I don't know particularly that the pigeons love the berries, but birds love the berries. And it blooms and has berries at the same time.
Right.
So
Attractive
very
berries, too.
attractive, low-growing, great little native. I guess to the United States or southern United States, but hardy, very drought tolerant, very easy to grow. Will self-sow, not invasively, but will give you a few extras along the way.
which is always nice.
Yes.
And I look at this flower and I say butterfly plant.
The smaller butterflies you'll
The
see.
skippers and things
yes,
like that?
Yes, not so much the big
Right.
monarchs and whatnot, but the littler butterflies love it. But again, the birds, you'll see the little wrens and berry-eating birds hopping all around.
Good.
Yeah.
So pigeonberry is another one to add to the list,
Yes.
and attractive, and
It's cute.
and grows well in a variety of situations too.
Really more shade than
Right.
sun, but certainly will tolerate some sun. You would
Morning
not want
sun.
to put this in the
Yeah,
hot
afternoon.
afternoon. It would
Right.
probably not
Right.
be happy.
Right. Great plant though.
Yes.
And then below that, rock penstemon. I
Rock
love the
penstemon.
penstemons.
I do too. And as far as I'm concerned, this is the only penstemon that is deer resistant. They may leave some alone, but they really leave this one alone. This one also, the hummingbirds like the flowers, and it blooms more frequently than the other penstemons do, all season long, and it's evergreen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's nice.
So it's hard, but it wants sun.
Okay.
It
And
would like-
yeah, this is a tough
This
drought
is a
tolerant
tough
plant.
drought-tolerant plant. Yes, it is.
So this covers the bill.
It does. It's like you got sun, you got deer. This is a good one to use.
Right.
Yes.
And that salvia-like bloom too is always
Yes, it
fun.
is.
Okay, right next to that we have Dwarf Barbados cherry.
Yes.
This is a little shrub. that has a really beautiful little blooms on it.
It's very pretty, very lacy, very delicate, and
Unusual.
typically blooms off and on all summer long, but this year they're slowed down a little bit with the heat.
Yeah.
And produces wonderful red, shiny red fruit that the birds do like, and it's very high in vitamin C, though I've never eaten it.
Right.
I think it's kind of bitter, but the birds like it.
Well, and they need
And the
vitamin
deer
C
don't.
too.
That's right. That's right. But it's beautiful. It makes a wonderful little hedge.
How tall do they get?
They can get up 3 to 4 feet,
Okay.
and they'll spread, and as roots or branches go across the ground, they'll root in.
I see.
So you can get even wider and wider, but easily maintained in that 3 to 4 foot range.
Nice little. You could plant little masses of them if you want to
You
make
could.
them
They do
evergreen.
air conditioners well. They're nice little
good
mass that get
thought.
a little height,
Good
and they'll
thought.
take some shade.
Right,
They don't have
right.
to have full sun.
Well, the next plant we're going to talk about is one of my all-time favorite natives. It's the Turks cap, and this is a gorgeous specimen.
This one is really pretty. It's survived the summer very well in a container.
And I have to say, there are places in my garden that I have not watered once this year, and the Turks cap's still alive.
Yeah, you think of them wanting more water,
Yeah.
needing shade, and they prefer the shade, I think, but they're very drought tolerant. And I think if the deer were hungry enough, they might nibble on it, but typically they leave it alone.
Yeah.
And another hummingbird magnet, I would call it.
Yeah. And
They go crazy for it.
To me, it may be like the signal plant of Austin. I think of it in many ways.
I think
as
so
being-
too.
Yeah.
And it's easy to grow.
Yeah.
It doesn't require much care from us.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
The Firebush is one that is a great kind of perennial in the garden, and it grows from nothing. You cut it to the ground, and they get 6 feet tall.
They get quite large, actually,
Yeah.
and right before your eyes. Winters will kill them down, but they're typically root hardy here. And boy, the more sun you can throw at that thing, the better it will bloom. It'll
Yeah,
do
it does-
some partial shade, but
No,
boy,
it really
it
wants the sun.
loves the sun.
Right.
And I don't know, hummingbirds go crazy, and actually I see butterflies on it as well.
Yeah, it is one of the best hummingbird plants I think you can plant.
I think so too. And again, deer, for whatever reason, don't bother it.
Okay,
Doesn't
well.
stink, but they don't like it.
Keep your secret, dude.
There you go, whatever it is.
Right next to that, we have Thryallis, which I always confuse for senna for some reason. Every time I look at it, it's the first thing that comes to my head. Similar flowers, but the leaves are a
Similar.
little different.
The leaves are different. It's really a tropical, kind of along the lines of the Mexican firebush,
Right.
native to Mexico and South
Right.
America, but very, very hardy here. Typically a deciduous shrub for us, not even freezing to the ground in the winter.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Hard winters, though, cut it back. It'll, it'll freeze on down. Not particularly butterfly magnet or hummingbird food, but it's pretty for our eyes. It's
Sure.
nice to have something that's blooming when it's 110 outside, and this will do it. The deer don't eat it. It loves sun. It will tolerate some partial shade. Very, very easy.
Yeah.
That's my kind of plants, are easy plants.
Well,
it's
and, you know, we need to be
don't want to
thinking that
baby
way.
these guys,
Right.
and very drought tolerant.
So drought tolerant, deer
Deer-
don't like it.
that's right.
It sounds like a winter. It takes full sun.
Yes.
What else could we ask for, right?
Not a lot.
And then the last one is Duranta repens, or Duranta.
Yes.
And always love the blooms in these guys.
And they're gorgeous, and the common name for them is Skyflower or golden dewdrops, which, if you ever look close enough, you'll see the little seed pods look like little golden berries.
All right.
They're attractive in themselves. Birds will nibble at those a little bit.
Right, right.
And they'll come in a variety of colors, actually. White, variegated, pale purple, and dark purple.
Well, beautiful plants, and it has a beautiful form as well,
Yes,
a
it
graceful
does.
kind of flowing form, great in containers or in the ground.
Yes.
Tricia, thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. Good to be
Great
here.
tips as always. Forever Gardens west of Georgetown, out by Sun City, right?
That's right.
Okay. Well,
Look forward to seeing everybody.
Well, I hope so.
I hope so.
Just like let's get that that fall attitude in there and head
That's
on
right.
back to the nurseries.
Thank you.
All right. Well, coming up next, it's Daphne.